There it goes.
We're not doing our countdown.
I guess not. I guess that didn't work.
Oh, just hello, everyone. Welcome back to, well, actually, we're streaming on different platforms right now. So, Rachael Kulei and Erik Castillo. We have several different podcasts. Usually, you see us both on the Straight Couch Talk podcast. Then I have mine, which is Rising Warriors, Rachael Kulei. And then Erik has his as well, which is the Warrior Mindset and Motivation. Which go ahead and you should check him out today. He had an interview with Jake McLaughlin from oh my goodness, Quantico. Oh my goodness, wow.
ABC's Quantico TV show.
Yeah, so Ryan from Quantico, and stay tuned because he will be coming onto my podcast here coming up in the next couple weeks. He's also part Native American. He's Cheyenne. I didn't know that. So anyways, I had an idea today of coming on for our last podcast of the year with setting intentions for this next coming year. And so over some time, I have a lot of people asking me how I get a lot accomplished. And over the years, being a dancer, a teacher, a model, owning my own wellness center, being a choreographer, just so many things that I do, and how I get things done, how I get things accomplished. And so one of the biggest things that my mom's had me do, my family do since I was a kid was actually on Christmas Day, we always sit together and we write a list of goals that we want to do and accomplish in the upcoming year. And so every year we sit down as a family and we sit down and really think about different goals that we want to do throughout the year and really write them down. But for us, over the years, we have these little boxes that we'll write down a list of things that we want to do. We roll it up, put it in our box, and then we actually don't revisit that box until the next Christmas. And then that next Christmas morning, we sit together and we open up our boxes and we actually go through and we all talk about each one of the goals that we wrote down and did we accomplish it? Well, about 98% of the time, each one of us accomplish almost every single thing on that list. And so I wanted to dive in a little bit deeper. So one of the biggest things that for me that has helped me as a professional dancer and a professional model throughout the years is having a mentor and a coach. So someone literally holding me accountable, helping me set my goals, and putting things into action and actually making my dreams come true and making things happen for myself. And so several of the things that we do is I have a list of stuff. So I actually prepared stuff for you guys before we started here. And so one of the things, I'm going to go through a list of the things that we go and we write down every year. And I'm going to dive into each one of those things a little bit more so that you can actually take these and write them down for yourself and then apply them into your own life going into this new year. So the number one thing that we focus on first is spiritual. So the spirituality. So I have this paper here. And my mom made this for me a while ago, a couple years ago. And so I kind of revamp it every year, go back and look at it. So with spirituality, here it was, how important is spirituality to you? So dive into that. So that's like the first one is what is that spirituality? How important is that to you? And, write down the importance to that. And then you can go and put on a scale of 1 to 10 where you are at that moment in time. So Maybe you could be a 4 and you want to be a 9 or 10. But I'm going to talk about this. So for me, for spirituality, I always go say I'm a 9. I don't ever say I'm going to be a 10. And the moment that I say I'm a 10, I say is the moment that I leave this earth and I'm done here on this earth and I go into the next life. And so when I complete that number 10 to me in spirituality, that means what I've completed my life here on this earth. So I strive to always stay at that 9, because to me, if I go to that 10, then I'm really like back in 2017 when I was on my deathbed and preparing to leave this earth. At that point, I was a 10. So that's why I know the difference between a 9 and a 10 when it comes to marking your spirituality and where you want to be, because I've been at that 10 and I was on my deathbed and I did die. So I stay at that 9. So, writing down how important that spirituality is to you. Then what are you doing to currently promote your spiritual growth? So now going through, at this point, I was slacking on things. So I was calling myself out, telling myself that I needed to read more spiritual things, feeding my mind spiritually. I was slacking on praying. I needed to pray more. I needed to go to the mountains more and connecting more with the earth, singing with my native drum and the flute at the water, doing more ceremonies in the sweat lodge, and then also some other things that I wrote down. So it goes through and you write down where you're kind of slacking, but then also you turn it around and go, okay, so now I recognize where I'm slacking, but now I need to work on these areas in order to improve this. And so then you start writing down what those goals are that you need to take in order to get the spirituality and come in line with that. The second one is the mental education, expanding your mind. So going through, again, on a scale 1 to 10, excuse me, how important is it to keep your mind actively engaged? For me, 10. It's very important for me to constantly be expanding my mind. Just this past year, I was thinking about it earlier. I think I've spent just a little over $10,000 this year on my own personal growth and education, and having mentors and getting healing done. We both joined the Inside Out Institute, and we have amazing transformational coaches in there, and combining with healing too at the same time. So it's really cool because everything that we've been doing in there has been aligning up exactly with what I've been taught to do my whole life. And it's cool because now I'm helping Eric do this, and also others are also influencing him and helping him as well, to get to this point. So education is important, and especially as a leader and mentor, and you have to keep yourself educated and on top. And I was always told that, especially like in dance, I'm going to use as an explanation or an example, is that we always say that when you get to the point where you think you know it all, it's time to quit. Like basically there's always more room for improvement. There's always room for growth. There's the knowledge is infinite in the universe. So if you think that you know it all, take a good look in the mirror and learn. So the next one is, what are you doing currently to expand your mind in knowledge? So going through again, like writing down what you're doing currently to expand your knowledge, writing down your goals there. whatever it may be. I love quantum physics and healing and vibrations, and so in the healing world of things. So I'm constantly diving my knowledge into that, and then also with history, he's diving his knowledge into psychology and learning and things like that. So going through and writing down where you can expand in your knowledge. Then if you were able to have unlimited access to your brain, what do you imagine your life would be like? And then what career do you think you would have? And what knowledge would you share with that? So, going through again. So, I'm going to use my mom as an example. She never knew what she wanted to be. She never knew what she wanted to be when she grew up. And she said this in her late mid 30s, when my sister was younger, and I was I was in college. And she went on this like mission and like, okay, of like, what do I want to be when I grow up? And she decided that she wanted to go into art. And so she went back into school, and got, her master's. And she still, because of her age, it didn't stop her. It didn't limit her. She kept going, and she still made her dream come true. And she's teaching art and now teaching Native American history studies. And, that's been a big thing that she's been working on and trying to do and such. So really going again, and it's never too late in your age to make those dreams come true. And especially in this time that we're in right now, this is a perfect time to start reinventing yourself. And we have all these new resources from working at home and doing things virtually. So like for me with my wellness center, I had to close down the doors of my wellness center at the beginning of this year. And it completely took me on a whole nother route and direction, with what I do with my wellness center and things like that. So going through your education, also, writing down what books. I'm constantly reading. We're both constantly reading. So going through books and knowledge, and educating your mind instead of sitting in front of the phone and computer all day long, or the TV, or find educational things to watch, that's expanding your mind and your knowledge. Next one, number 3, is physical health. Here, you want to read it? So just go through these ones.
So the first one here, it says, what is your health like on a scale from 1 to 10 being critical? On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you taking care of your health issues? So that's kind of just like, what are you doing if you know you have problems? What are you doing to take care of them? Like for me, I'm diabetic, so I have to take care of those problems. I can't ignore them. I have to address that. So my health is not a 10, and me personally, it'll never be a 10. It'll get to a 9 or an 8 because I can't be that peak because I have that disability. But I can maintain that and do that care to take care of myself is what I'm doing to take care of my health issues. Same thing with PTSD. I take care of that stuff. And then it's just you writing down stuff to take care of yourself. And even if you don't write it all down, you're just not being true to yourself. And now you're giving yourself a pass when you shouldn't. You can't give yourself a pass. You have to hold yourself accountable. So when you take care of those health issues, they're important and they're serious. The next thing it says here is, what are you doing to take care of your physical strength? That's pretty much more like do some sort of a strength. You don't have to go to a gym. You've seen all the gyms are closed. They got all these home workouts now. We have the TRX here. She's got this hanging cloth thingy from the
that silk fabric.
Yeah, that, and she spins around and all this stuff. And you got to be strong to do that. If I do that, I'll probably break a neck or something. You have to be strong to hang around and spin and not get dizzy. And that's all with physical strength. And I just seen a thing that we're probably going to get now. It's called InStar, INN Star, STAR. It's basically an in-home gym. It's like a big long metal bar with bands, and it goes behind your back, and you can do basically everything in a gym with that bar and the resistance. And there's your gym. So you can't even say, oh well, I can't go to the gym. I can't do, I need dumbbells. No, you don't need dumbbells. You can do push-ups. There's heavy things in your house you can do. There's
There's
water
Instagram
jugs. They got stuff on Instagram. They got people who you can
with
do
no weight.
full body workouts, no weights. Yeah, if you buy water jugs, guess what? You can do your water jugs. You can do anything. So that when it comes
I
to,
lift my weight, or I lift weights with my niece sometimes. I use her as my weights.
yeah, I mean, even like I even go as far as if I'm carrying groceries, I'm doing curls with the grocery bags while I'm going. I'm just walking with the grocery bags, and I'll do some curls, 10 on each side, and then I put them on the counter. It's a workout for you. So like, there's no excuse on not to take care of yourself physically. And then the last thing it says here is what makes you motivated to get physically active. So I just see it as like that's an area for people. Everyone has their own reasons and goals for physical activity. Some people, I know some people who just don't like being physical, but then they say, oh, I'm tired. Well, duh, because you don't do nothing physical. You By being physical, you get endurance. Excuse me. You get stamina. You get agility. You get all that stuff, and you can go
Stress
longer.
relief.
Yeah, and it releases all the endorphins, negative toxins. Like if you're doing something that's just a little bit above your max capacity to lift or to do anything, or if you say you can do push-ups on your knees, right? If you can't hold yourself up, and you go until your muscles reach a muscle failure, but you push a little bit more, now you're releasing stuff from your body. You're releasing negative toxins and things like that, and all that extra crap that's there, because you're putting it all into trying to get your body off the ground, and you're shaking and things. And even if you try to do it again and you fall, you're releasing stuff. You know what I mean? So that's try to find something to make it motivate. If you got grandkids, for the older folks, do you want to keep up with your grandkids, or do you want to sit on the chair and be like, no, yeah, you're good, go ahead? No, because the grandkids are going to want you to run around. Like, they're going to want you to run. They're going to want you to do things because they don't know. But that's where that should be a motivation for you right there. Or if you have kids, or heck, your dog, or whatever motivates you to get up and do something, even if it's 15 minutes a day, do it. What hurt do you do if you're watching the show over here and with the streaming, and say you pause for whatever reason, you pause to go get something to drink or something, come back and you can't hit play, so you do 15 push-ups and 15 sit-ups, however long it takes. Guess what? You can't push play until you do it, but you have to hold yourself accountable and not give yourself a pass. That's the catch. Do you have the discipline to do it?
I do. Sweet. So that's physical. So the next one is service. Do you want to do that, or you want me to do it?
I'll do it. So service here, first thing that kind of goes into is in the past, how have you served the community? What organizations have you served? Well, you guys know what organization I serve. I serve you guys, everyone there watching and everyone not watching. I serve the people of the United States, and I took an oath to swore to defend that. And even now, just because I'm out, it doesn't expire. It's an oath that I uphold, and a promise that I have made to the people of the United States that I will give back to them. And that's why I personally started my podcast for veterans, because I'm giving back and I'm serving the veteran community, because I owe it to them to show them that they're not alone, and there's someone there to listen. So that's how I serve my community. I donate to some charities through omaze.com. There's stuff on there. Even though, yeah, they're raffling stuff off, I don't really. I look at the stuff and go, oh, that'd be cool to kind of win this Porsche or $30,000 or a trip to wherever. Or I did sign up to try to meet the Undertaker in Florida, so she'll come with me. But I did do that one, but I did like $20. I mean, it's an extra 20 because I have a small little savings that I try to put aside. So, but I donate to the charities because it goes to a charity. It goes to the kids. They did one where they were raffling off of some Jeep Rubicon thing, whatever that is. But I donated to that because it went to a veterans organization, so I donated to it. And that's, even if it's only $5, your $5 or even your $1 makes a difference. And then you can still say you did something, even though it's only $1, but you did something. You donated and you gave to your organizations. How does it feel to serve your community? I think it feels good. I mean, it's that satisfaction of doing something for someone else. Like and if you want to know how that feels, if you drink coffee or if you're at the grocery store, right? And you see someone behind you and coffee's simple, you just say, "Hey, I'm gonna pay for whatever they ordered behind me." Like if they're in a line, like if you're in a drive-through, I do that sometimes, and I feel happy. Sometimes I get teary eyed because I just feel so happy that I made someone's day because for whatever reason that compelled me to buy this person's coffee, they needed it. Or at the store, you see someone with just a few things, and you just tell the cashier, "Hey, don't worry about it. I'll get that." Watch the look on their face. Watch the look that they give you, and they're gonna look at you like, "Why?" And why not? It's only 5, 6, 7 bucks. It's not like you're asking to break the bank or anything like $300, $400. Well, if you got the money, go ahead. But $5 is not gonna hurt you if you're at the store, especially if you're doing groceries and you're spending $300 and someone ahead of you has like only $5 of stuff. Why not just take their $5? I mean, it's not a big deal. I do that. So I do that all the time, and it's just giving back, and I feel good doing it, and it's a warm, rewarding feeling. And if you've never done that before, you should try it. You can even start small with just coffee and watch how you feel, and watch the gratitude that other person gives you if you get a chance to actually feel it. It's really really cool.
Or like I do sometimes is I have bottles of water or protein bars and things like that in my car or my truck for when I see homeless people. So sometimes I'll see someone standing there, and then I'll even hear that person needs that water, and then I'm like, okay, so I'll give him that water or that whatever it is. Or sometimes like a couple weeks ago it was that man needs $20, and I was like, okay. And but it's not something too that I we go when you do service, it's you don't that means that you don't go around and go, "Oh, look what I did. Okay, I need a pat on the back because I went and gave this homeless person this, or I went and helped this veteran today, or I went and helped and I bought this person all this things today and that had nothing, and and going announcing it to the world." And there's a way to deliver that message if you want to share that experience, but doing it in a way of humility and being humble, and not for the praise of what you did, but for setting an example in leadership. And saying that, as in setting that example of, I did this and this is what happened and this is my experience. And it, like he was saying, it touched my heart in this way, being able to help this person. And sharing those experiences that you do the service in that way, and delivering the message in a beautiful way, of that service, instead of asking for, it's almost like the narcissistic of, I need the pat on the back just to make sure that I'm a good person because I'm making up for all the horrible shit I just did. So that's one of the things that I just wanted to add to that is, there's two ways of sharing your service, and do it in the beautiful way of sharing your experience, and in a leadership of inspiring others to do that as well, instead of looking for that pat on the back, because when you're doing that, then you're not really doing service, you're doing service for yourself.
Right. And then and no one really knows this, but a couple of months ago, and I'll say it now because I feel this is a good time to say it. My son a couple months ago was hell bent on giving a homeless person like something to eat and some water. So we were down in Hillsboro. I had him with me, and he was hell bent on it. He wanted to do it. He really really wanted to do it. And I wasn't going to say no. I was like, okay, fine. And we couldn't see none, and we found one. So we went to the little gas station, got a big thing of water, and there was some chips or something, because that's what he wanted to do, which was fine. So we drove around, and the one person we saw was gone. But then there was a woman standing in the one of the medians coming in and out towards one of the main plazas, and we pulled over to the side because it was by a light. Ooh, excuse me. And we called her over and gave her the water and the chips, and she was so happy and grateful. And I didn't take the credit for it. I said my son wanted to give this to you because he saw you standing here and he just wanted to do it. So I just supported him and did it. I could have easily posted that on anywhere and got all of this, oh, such a great job. But no, like I don't need to do that. And there'll be a time and place for that. And I'm now it's coming up because this is what we're talking about now. But that's what he did. And that's to kind of go off of what Rachel was saying, is that I did that's an example of not being using the service for my own personal gain, because I could have easily did that, but it wasn't even my idea to do. It was his. So all the credit goes to Jaden. All the good credit goes to him on getting the water and the chips. I mean, he couldn't reach and give it to her because we were in the car, and then the COVID and things like that and all whatever else. So I had to kind of put that shield up for him. But it was all his idea. So if any credit, it goes to him. And I didn't run to social media right after or record it while I was going, say, look what's happening here. No, this all that is just a story. Stuff like that should just be a story that you tell later on, because that's for you. It's for your self satisfaction and not for like pleasure. Like, oh, praise me because I'm a good person. You're a good person, and there's times and places to share certain things depending on what you're doing. But for something like that, I felt no, and I kind of just I told Rachel, I told my mom, my dad, and that's pretty much it. I don't know who he told, but I didn't tell too many people, just little immediate family, because I just wanted them to know what we did, and that's kind of how I wrap up service.
One more.
Oh, there's another one.
Last one.
On a daily basis, in what capacity do you serve others? So for that one, I guess it's just I just brain farted.
Okay.
My brain just went.
So on a daily basis, in what capacity do you serve others? So this was done, I think, almost 2 years.
July.
Oh, this was done in July. Okay.
Yeah.
So back in July, of course, because I didn't have my wellness center, I wasn't serving others the way that I was used to serving every day, especially my veterans, because I work a lot with veterans. So at that time, I haven't been serving others as I know I should be. I should have reached out more to my vets during COVID, which I'm sorry. But instead I shut down and went MIA. I should be doing more inspirational quotes, live feeds, sound bold, drumming, live feeds like I'm doing right now. But I just feel so drained that it's hard to take on others' emotions right now. I'm tired. I also, going back to the physical health, like for me, I just found out that for the past 2 years, I've been pushing myself physically beyond measures with a torn psoas. So I went back to dancing. Went back to weightlifting. I was going back to training for an Ironman, and literally pushing kickboxing. I was doing martial arts, um, doing all of these things with this torn psoas, just telling myself to push through the pain.
Tell them what the psoas is, because some people might not know.
So the psoas, I'm going to stand up for a second. So the psoas, basically from the top of the hip here to down here, is the muscle that runs along here, which also attaches to the leg, and this helps lift your leg. So anything with your stomach that you do with your contracting and using your leg, this completely snaps. So from right at the base, my the muscle tendon basically is up here on the left side of my stomach right here. So I have to have surgery, and I have to they have to go and grab the muscle and pull it back down to my hip and attach it together. And then I also have a cyst on the top of my femur head on the left side, which is causing pain. So over the years, I've been getting told that, my cancer pain, because it's in the pelvis. And now this other physical pain that I've been having was like all in my head, and finally got them to go and push through these things. So I was at a point where I just was like shutting down because I didn't know what I could do anymore. Um, so I started having to work on myself and do even more personal goals and things. And so it kind of took away from being able to do service in the way that I normally do. And I had to kind of cut back and refocus on myself, so that I can be better to be able to help you guys. Um, so the next one is number 5 is character, personal goals. So the character, again, going on a scale of 1 to 10, being very critical. How often do you speak negatively about yourself?
Don't lie either.
I was at an 8, meaning that I was speaking very, very negatively about myself and being my worst enemy and tearing myself apart. So I was at an 8. Now I'm about a 4, I'm going to say, because yesterday I was being very hard on myself. Yep. Okay. So next one is with that is what negative things do you say? So going through and now identifying those things in a way that you talk badly about yourself, but then I want you to go through and turn those things into a positive and start turning those the negative into a positive, and then start writing I am um affirmations. So I am beautiful, I am successful, I am worthy. So identify those negative things, but then when those things come from the subconscious and to the conscious, then when you identify it, then you can go, okay, so I'm beating myself up with these exact words. So then go and replace those words. And so then you can go through and you're actually replacing those negative thoughts with the positive. Then one thing I like to do too is put those affirmations in a place that you can see daily, and then constantly repeating themselves, those things to yourself, and really saying it until you believe it. And sometimes it's like you have to like make yourself believe it until you believe it.
They did that in Veterans Court. There was one guy who did not believe he was a good person, and before they started, every time the judge would make him say, "I am a good person," and he would make him keep saying it until he believed it himself. And like I think 3 weeks before, he actually believed it. But the judge made him every time. He would start talking and he'd be like, "No, what are you forgetting?" He'd be like, "I'm a good person, Your Honor." And you could hear the tone. You could hear it. And he'd just be irritated. But he would say it. And literally for the months, it was just like literally going through the motions, just doing it to just do it until you see the transition of him actually believing it at the end and him feeling it. So I just wanted to say that because it kind of went on.
Yeah,
Like that.
it's perfect. So then that goes right into the next one of what character flaw do you feel gets in the way of your own success? Mine was self-doubt that I wrote down. That was a huge one for me. So identifying those things that gets in your own way of your own success, and recognizing what are those sabotages that you create for your own self, so that you don't actually succeed in the way that you could, or making those dreams come true, going after those dreams, fighting for what you want, and putting things into action and really making it happen. Then on the next one is on a scale of 1 to 10 being absolute positive, how often do you speak positively about yourself? At that point for me, it was a 5.
See, that was a 2.
I'm getting better. I'm about a 7, 8. Today was a 8.5.
I'm at where she was at. I'm like a 5, maybe 6.
Yesterday I was about a 2. But that's the truth, and I'm going to be honest. Sometimes we have good days and sometimes we have bad, bad. So then the next one with that is then now going through and list the positive qualities that you like about yourself. And so then now that's where those I ams come back into the picture of what you did before with the negative thoughts and turning those in. So now you're going back and revisiting that and writing even more qualities that you like about yourself.
And then just one thing, just to kind of finish up with character, is you had said you're your own worst enemy. So if you take a second now and break down the word enemy, right? And then me. Listen to at the end of what that's saying right there. Me. Enemy. The enemy is me. The enemy is in me. So you are your own worst enemy. So when you hear that and you're beating yourself up, just know that, just break that word down. Enemy. It's ending with me, which means you're doing it to yourself, and you don't need to do that. And you can literally give that the smackdown and put it away. I just wanted to throw that
Good one. Next one, real quick, I added this one in is to go through financial goals because of what we're all going through and different levels of things financially. Writing down those goals, writing down the financial goals and what you want to do, what you want to make, where you want to go, what you want to eventually make, and then sitting down and writing action plans and things to do basically daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, to get those goals met and those things like that. And that actually comes with the next one of, going into your dreams. So giving yourself permission to dream. So, writing down where do you want to see yourself in 3 months? Where do you want to see yourself in 6 months? Then in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. So going through, and then what you do is you take like the 3 months. This is where I want to, okay, so right, like I wrote 3 months, and then I wrote down the goals that I wanted to do and accomplish within 3 months. Then I wrote down 6 months, and then what I wanted to do within that time, then a year, then 5 years. You can also work backwards within that too, of setting your 5-year vision, and then your 10-year vision, because if you see where you want to be in 5 years, 10 years, then you write those dreams and those goals down. Then you start working backwards on action plans and steps to get to that place, so that you can actually make those steps and those goals actually put into action. I'm losing my words right there. Sorry. Um, so real quick, so that's the next one is doing your dream. A big one that I like to do is creating a dream board. So I get magazines and I go and I cut pictures, I cut words, and I get a big poster board, and I end up creating this huge collage of my dream board. And so this year, um, we've been working on a dream board together. So that's something that we've been doing. I've never worked on a dream board with someone else before and combining that together. So this is interesting going on this, because what we're doing is we're creating our own dream board, but they're together. So it's like we're not going over here and I'm not putting my stuff on his board over here and he's not coming on my board over here, where we have our own boards, but they're going to go up together and be put together. And then it's interesting because it's kind of cool because I've been watching and kind of peeking over what he's been cutting out and things like that. And it's like it meshes in with things that I have, or like little missing puzzle pieces, like for instance, Dream Home, the little rooms and things like that that I haven't quite been able to like see and envision. I look over and he has those little things cut out for those areas, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then it's like vice versa on this other side. So that's a big thing. And like my parents have been married for 35 years, and I've been watching them do um these things my whole entire life, and I've watched them both succeed and support each other on their dreams and their goals, and helping each other push forward, mentoring each other, coaching each other, healing each other. Um, and so uh, I put this into my life, my whole life. This is the first time putting it into actual um, uh, plan or whatever execution in a relationship, going into a marriage. And so it's beautiful to be able to do this, because I've seen my parents do this, and I've seen where they've gone and how far they've gone and how beautiful it is, and I've always cherished that. And so it's exciting to be able to do this together and not alone, because I've been doing this basically alone for many years. So um, with that, oh, one last little thing here is just again, within your 1 year is, make sure you set your goals, make action plans, do check-ins. So every month, do like a reality check-in where you go through each one of those things that I just talked about: the spiritual, mental, physical, service, character, financial, and then your goals, your dreams, and then go back through and check yourself and go back to those numbers on the scale of where you were at. And sometimes you may fall back, sometimes you may go, like, you go forward. You hope to keep going forward each time you go back to that current reality check. Then making sure that I'm big with schedules and keeping myself organized. That's how I'm able to juggle so many things that I do. And then really sticking to that schedule, holding myself accountable. And Eric does this. And if you're in the military or a veteran, like you know this, you're on a schedule, and you get a lot accomplished when you stay on that schedule and you're diligent and you hold yourself accountable. Um, Especially out here, you don't have anyone over you telling you to do anything. So you, especially as military, you guys got to make sure that you apply this into civilian life so that you can keep going forward. And like what Eric's doing here, he's a good example for you guys. um
I see it like with that too. Is I see it as if you're a boss or you're a manager or something, and someone doesn't do something, you get on them, right? You hold them accountable, and you hold them responsible for them failing what they didn't do. So what the hell makes you so special not to hold yourself accountable? So easy to do it to someone else, but yet you give yourself a pass. No, hold yourself accountable like you were holding someone else accountable at work. And even if you weren't a boss, even if you're working with someone and they were supposed to do something, then and you're like, dang man, what the hell? Why didn't you do it? You get all mad. But then when it's time for you to hold up something to yourself, oh no, I'll be good, I'll be okay, I'll give myself a pass. No, because now you just created a new standard. You just created a new standard within yourself that's acceptable, an acceptable behavior that's unacceptable.
Mic drop. Just kidding. That's exactly what the next one that I was just gonna say is what he just talked about. So literally mic drop. And that's it. Yeah. So you guys put this into action if you really want to go into this next year and actually succeed in something. Um, whether it be big or small, but set those goals. Um, you know, sit down with your partner or sit down with yourself, literally right now at this moment. Before, I know it probably already struck one over on the East Coast, I think,
Almost
right?
30
Almost
minutes.
30 minutes. You have 30 minutes. If you're on the East Coast, you have 30 minutes to at least go and write down two things be in underneath each one of those things that you want to accomplish. And that'll only take you 10 minutes, if that, to do. So two things for spiritual, two things for mental, two things for physical, two things for service, two things for your character, two financial goals, and two dreams. Go do it. Dream big.
Yeah. Go big or go home.
Exactly.
You're in your home already, so all you can do is go big.
And you know what? You don't have to listen to anybody to make your dreams come true. And if I were to listen to many people that told me I couldn't do things, I would not be standing here in front of you today. Um, Especially from being a cancer survivor from stage 4, and so many things that I've gone through just on my own battles. Um, you gotta mentally push through it and fight. I wanted to do a podcast the other morning because it took me literally about 3 hours to get out of bed because I was in so much pain from just all my physical things, and we had just moved him. And so literally spent like 8 hours lifting heavy furniture and things, and my body was toast, and it took me hours to get out of bed. But my point is that I could have laid there all day long. I could have had a self pity party. I could have let Eric coddle me and let me stay there all day and go, oh, it's okay. But you know what? I told him, I said, you know what? You can't let me stay here, and you gotta like in you gotta be my drill sergeant right now because my grandma was my drill sergeant, and you can't go soft on me right now. I need you to help mentally push me, and because I can push through it. Um, I have been trained my whole life to not show my pain and to literally be having blisters bleeding through my point shoes. And again, like doing all of this training I've been doing for the past 2 years with a torn psoas muscle that you literally need to do so many things with when you're doing physical activity or just even walking or even getting in and out of the car, going up and down stairs. I have to lift my leg with my hand to go up and down stairs or to get in and out of the car. Um, I could have this big old pity party, fighting cancer, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, scoliosis, um, uh, cysts, just so many different things I could go on about with my own health issues. But I'm mentally pushing through it, and I'm not letting it be an excuse to keep me from being held back. Same thing with Eric with his diabetes and with PTSD and with what he's gone through. So, my point is, what's your excuse?
None. For an obstacle, when you come up to an obstacle, there's really only two choices. You either just sit there and let it just be there, or you go through it. You don't go around it, because if you go around it, it's still going to be there and it's going to make itself known later on. The only way to beat an obstacle is to literally go through it. You break it apart and you crumble it so it can't manifest itself again and pop up later. So you destroy the obstacle. You freaking breach and clear and punch a hole through it and let it collapse and let it sit in your rear, in the back there as you're going. And anyone that comes up, you just punch right through it. Because if you go around it, it's gonna circle back and catch up again later.
But I'm also going to say, too, respect yourself, honor yourself. And you know what? Sometimes, like I told him, I said, there are some days that, yes, you got to allow yourself that grievance and rest.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you have to allow yourself that grievance and be a little bit slower. And I'm fighting that right now because I'm used to being able to go, 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 go. But because of my actual physical trauma right now, it's slowing me down. So I have this mental battle of not being able to push as much as I know I could, but I'll get there. So, be kind to yourself. And, and for a while, I went through this battle by myself for 3 years. So I was alone for 3 years, lived by myself for 3 years. And there was many days that I was literally crawling around my house and nobody even knew I was crawling. And because I couldn't walk, and I was too prideful to tell anybody that I needed a caregiver. Um, so I know that mental battle of having to push through that physical pain, and this is when I actually start remembering what our military and our veterans and those out there that fight. When I get through this, when I go to this, I remember them, and I'm like, okay, you know, here they are fighting through this, and they actually went through physical war. They actually lost a limb and they're pushing through this and they're pushing through the mental battle. And you know what? Like I told Eric yesterday, I was like, sometimes I'm just going to have to be like you guys in the way of I got to just fucking scream through this pain right now, but I'm screaming through it and I'm pushing. So sometimes that's what you just got to do. And it's a mental battle. But at the same time, um, I am like, what would you say? A witness in a sense, not a witness, testament,
Testimonial.
testimonial, of being able to push yourself through that mental battle. And not only that, knowing how to listen to your body so that you can navigate mentally, spiritually, physically in whatever journey and road that is for that strength, that health, um, that healing, and whatever that may be. So I'm just gonna kind of leave it with that. It's a mental battle, you guys, and whether you're civilian, veteran, military, it's a mental battle, and you got to be strong enough to fight through it. You got to be a warrior. It's time to be warriors and rise up and step up, especially coming into this new year. And if you want to see change, and that's the thing about I love about this past year is that in order for things to happen and in order for change to happen, you have to be uncomfortable. If you're comfortable, nothing changes and nothing shifts and nothing moves forward. So I love how this past year, the whole world on a global scale has been forced to be uncomfortable, and it doesn't matter what what race, what hierarchy, what class you're in. It doesn't matter who you are. We all got impacted and hit in some type of way this past year, which made every one of us uncomfortable. And with being uncomfortable, causes change. So with that, I wanted to leave this with you guys, going into the new year and setting this and helping you guys, set things and goals and intentions so that you can, go into this new year being positive, being hopeful, and collectively making a change. And the more that we all work on ourselves and bettering ourselves, the more you're going to see a change and a ripple effect on a global scale of just love and going back to the way of life, and especially as Native Americans, going back to that way of being connected and being connected with the earth, with creator, with the heavens, with all of us. So with that, happy new year. I pray for you all, and I will say prayers for you all tonight, when we're done going into this new year. And you know take a deep breath. Just let all of this stuff go from this past year, this whirlwind. Take the blessings from it. And one thing real quick I wanted to talk about too is, I forgot to bring up, is your family and relationships and working on those family and relationships. That's a huge one. And especially now, uh, time's coming and we don't ever know how much time we have left here. So reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out to people. Say that, send your message of I love you or thinking of you or something. Um, Even if it's, yeah, I don't like doing the FaceTime, but I just started now doing it just because that's the only engagement we get to see anymore is through the camera right now. So get out of your comfort zone, step out, because what happens if tomorrow your loved one goes and then you're going to regret that you didn't message them or you didn't reach out to them when you had that inspiration to send them that message, when it really just takes a small moment to do, or making that time for that person, um, especially in these times when we don't get to see each other like we all want to and things like that. So it's a little bit more challenging. So step out of your comfort zone and, reach out, reach out to your family, reach out to your extended family, your adopted family. I've got tons of adopted family. Um, just be there, and work on those relationships too. And if they're toxic, then it's time to cut the cords and watch my show on Sunday. I will be having my cousin, Dr. Sheree Davis, come on again, and we're going to be talking about cutting cords and releasing cords from traumas and past and things like that going into the new year. So that will be my first podcast going into the new year, is cutting the cords. So
My first podcast, also on mine, will be someone I deployed with. He was with my best friend, and he lost his eye and was given the Purple Heart while deployed. And he started his own fitness business. So that's going to be the talk of the new year, is to show that, hey, there's no excuses. There's none. So happy New Year from our family to yours. Be safe. If you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink. If you have to think about it more than once, you probably shouldn't do it. Army safety brief for you right there. Be safe.
Happy New Year.